I thought my husband had forgotten his gym bag. I had no idea he'd left his entire double life inside it. The zipper was half open, and when I reached in, my fingers touched a second phone, a hotel keycard, and a little girl's birthday bracelet with one word engraved on it: Daddy. My heart stopped. Ryan and I had been married for 11 years, and we never had children. So who was calling him Dad? My name is Olivia, and until that Tuesday morning, I believed I knew every corner of my husband's life. Ryan rushed out for work, kissed my forehead, and forgot the black canvas bag beside our front door. I almost texted him about it. Instead, I opened it. Beneath the workout clothes was a sealed envelope labeled, "If anything happens to me." I hesitated, then slowly broke the seal. The very first sentence made my blood run cold. "Olivia, none of this is what you think." I read the sentence twice, hoping I had misunderstood it, but the handwriting was unmistakably Ryan's. I opened the rest of the letter and found only 3 lines. The woman in the photograph knows where she is. The bracelet belongs to her daughter, and if Olivia finds out, they will come looking for me. My stomach tightened. What daughter? Who was this woman? And why would anyone come looking for Ryan? I checked the second phone again. There was only one saved number, labeled M. Before I could call it, a message appeared. "He knows you have the bag." I dropped the phone onto the kitchen table. Someone was watching us. Then I noticed the hotel keycard again. A handwritten room number was written on the back, 417. I searched the hotel name online and recognized the address immediately. It was only 20 minutes from our house. I grabbed my coat and headed for the door. But before I could leave, my phone rang. It was Ryan. "Olivia, whatever you found, don't go to that hotel." I ignored Ryan's warning. If he was hiding something from me, I needed to know what it was. 20 minutes later, I parked outside the hotel and stared at the entrance, wondering if I was making the biggest mistake of my life. I walked inside and asked the receptionist about room 417. She checked the computer, then looked at me strangely. "That room isn't currently occupied," she said. "But it was booked under your name." My heart skipped. "My name?" I asked. She nodded and handed me a small envelope that had been left at the desk earlier that morning. Inside was a photograph of Ryan standing beside the same woman from the bracelet. This time there was a little girl between them. On the back of the photograph were 2 words: "She's alive." I didn't understand. Who was alive? Then the receptionist suddenly lowered her voice. "Ma'am, there's something else. Your husband came here yesterday and asked us to call him if you ever showed up." Before I could respond, my phone buzzed. A message from Ryan appeared. "Leave now. Someone is watching you." I hurried out of the hotel, but the feeling of being watched followed me all the way to my car. I locked the doors and called Ryan again. This time he answered immediately. "Olivia, listen to me. You weren't supposed to find that photograph." His voice was tense. "Then tell me the truth," I said. "Who is the girl?" There was a long silence. Finally, Ryan whispered, "Her name is Lily. She's 12 years old." My heart sank. "Is she your daughter?" I asked. He didn't answer. That silence was enough. Before I could say another word, I noticed a dark SUV parked across the street. The same vehicle had been behind me since I left the hotel. Its engine started. Ryan heard the sound through the phone and immediately said, "Don't go home. Drive somewhere public." I pulled away, watching the SUV in my mirror. Then another message appeared on the second phone. "Ryan didn't tell you everything. Lily isn't the only secret." I looked at the screen, and suddenly the SUV turned onto the same road. Someone wasn't just following me. They were following me because of Ryan. I drove to a crowded coffee shop and parked near the entrance. The SUV passed slowly, then disappeared around the corner. I finally called Ryan again. "Who is Lily?" I demanded. This time he stopped trying to avoid the truth. He told me Lily was his daughter, but there was something he had never told me. "Her mother contacted me 4 years ago," he said. "She was sick and believed someone was trying to find Lily." Ryan had been secretly paying for Lily's school, and keeping her location hidden. The woman in the photograph wasn't his lover. She was Lily's aunt, the person helping Ryan protect her. I wanted to believe him, but one question still bothered me. Why did you lie about having a daughter? Ryan's voice became quiet. Because I was afraid that if you knew, you'd become part of the danger. Before I could answer, the second phone vibrated again. This time, the message contained a photograph of Lily standing outside a school. Beneath it were 6 words. "We know where your daughter is." My heart stopped. Ryan suddenly went silent. Then he whispered, "Olivia, that's not Lily's school." Ryan's words made my hands go cold. "Then whose school is that?" I asked. He told me to stay inside the coffee shop while he came to meet me. 10 minutes later, he walked through the door looking exhausted. He placed the old photograph on the table and pointed to a small symbol in the corner. "That's the mark they used years ago," he said. "The people who were looking for Lily." I finally understood why he'd been so afraid. This wasn't about an affair. Someone had been trying to find Lily for years, and somehow my discovery had brought me into the middle of it. Then Ryan opened the second phone and showed me a message he'd received earlier that morning. "She found the bag. It's time." I stared at him. "Who sent it?" Ryan shook his head. "I don't know." Before I could ask anything else, a woman entered the coffee shop and walked directly toward our table. She was the same woman from the photographs. She looked at me, then at Ryan, and quietly placed a folded document in front of me. "You deserve to know why your husband kept this from you." I opened it and saw my own name at the top. I looked at the document and felt the room disappear around me. My name was printed across the top, followed by an address I recognized immediately: my childhood home. I looked at Ryan. "Why is my old address on this?" He didn't answer. The woman finally spoke. "Because Lily's mother wasn't the only person who knew about the secret. Your father knew too." My heart raced as she explained that years ago, my father had helped hide records connected to Lily's family. He had never told me because he believed keeping me away from the truth would protect me. Ryan had discovered those records after my father's death and spent years making sure they stayed hidden. But there was one problem. Someone had recently found the missing file. The woman reached into her bag and placed a small key on the table. "This opens the last box your father left behind." I stared at it, barely able to breathe. Then Ryan's phone suddenly rang. He answered, listened for 3 seconds, and his face went completely pale. "They're at the house," he whispered. I grabbed my coat, but before we could leave, the woman stopped me and said, "Olivia, there's something inside that box you were never supposed to see." We drove back to my childhood home, but everything felt different now. Ryan unlocked the old storage room beneath the house, and I found a small metal box hidden behind a loose wooden panel. The key from the woman fit perfectly. Inside were old photographs, financial records, and one handwritten letter from my father. I unfolded it with trembling hands. "Olivia, if you ever find this, trust Ryan. He was never the person you were warned about." I looked at Ryan in disbelief. After everything I discovered, my father had actually trusted him. The documents revealed that my father had helped Lily's family escape from someone who had been trying to control their inheritance. Ryan had continued protecting Lily long after my father died. The woman from the hotel was her aunt, and the mysterious messages were meant to scare Ryan into giving up the records. Then I noticed one final page. It contained a name I recognized immediately. Someone close to our family who had known the truth for years. Before I could say anything, the front door slammed upstairs. Ryan grabbed my hand and whispered, "They're here." I looked at the hidden documents and finally understood. The secret hadn't been Ryan's double life. It had been the people around us.